right, here we go. Live 2 times, baby.
Twice. Once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah, I no kidding, man. Dude, I'm telling you, YouTube just went ahead and updated the whole Google Hangouts on air. We're over on YouTube instead of Google Plus now, though you can access us through Google Plus. But I'll talk about that in just a second. Welcome to Bootstrap Businessmen, the podcast devoted to inspiring the entrepreneur within on a shoestring budget. And I'm your host, #1 best-selling author, many times over, not in fitness books, not just in fitness books, but also over into romance books, and also over now in the children's books, Dale L. Robertson. I'm joined by Midwest #1 best-selling author himself, Kevin S. Salen. Kevin, you know I had to get that dig on you right there.
I know it. You're gonna make it to where I have to adopt that sooner or later, I'm sure, right? I think that's what you're kind of going after.
Well, here's the thing: is you are currently working on a book coming up, correct? What's the name of that?
Which one?
No. The Kevin S. Allen book, not the ones that has your pseudonym on them.
Residually speaking.
Residually speaking, yeah. So give me a little bit of a synopsis on what you got going down with that book, man.
Honestly, right now I've got the outline done and a few pages written. Actually, I write it through the day as I'm thinking. You know what I mean? I get a moment, I'll write thoughts down. So maybe 5-6 pages on a notebook, plus the outline. Yeah. Basically, it's going to be talking to people about how they can create or go after, maybe like a work from home opportunity, if they want to write a book, and kind of setting up their lifestyle to earn money residually, putting in the hard work up front, and then being able to collect on that 2, 3, 10 years from now. A lot of people have a hard time, Dale, honestly, understanding residual income. Any sense to them?
Right. I make money when I'm sleeping? What does that mean?
What? How? This is a scam. This is got to be a pyramid scheme.
It's a pyramid scheme, see?
Yeah. Honestly, everybody thinks that, you have to put in 40 or 50 hours a week, collect the paycheck either every week or every 2 weeks, whatever the case is. That's how you get paid. Unfortunately, things have changed over the years, and you can actually, like the work that I did today, right? This is how I try to explain to people. I signed 1 new client today. Okay.
Yeah. Congrats, by the way.
Yeah, if they're with me 5 years, I will collect a residual income monthly off of them for the next 5 years by just doing 1 set of paperwork. You know what I mean? They're like, wait a minute. They still can't wrap their minds. So that's kind of what the book is. And it's telling my story. It's honestly the first time that, I'm kind of thinking this out, going through the steps that, I went through, the mindset issues I had to overcome, to really adapt this philosophy and stuff into my life. So I'm putting it, pen to paper, and I'm just going to kind of drop it out for everybody. And hopefully it works as a simple guideline for them. Maybe they can actually follow. So that's what it's about.
It's so foreign to people. Why do you think it's so foreign to people? Why do you think bells and whistles go off that they think it's a scam?
Honestly, man, it's traditionally taught. If you think about how our parents earned money, their parents earned money, and so on and so forth, through the generations, it's all been hard work. Put your 40 hours in, work your 30 years, collect a paycheck, collect a retirement. That's kind of been the mentality. It's been taught for generations. And where that actually came from, if you do any history and research on it, was actually started back, if you want to go back to the Romans, with people, the builders or the poor or the paupers, the workers, and then you have, your kings and princes, and so they set this up like, you do this work for us and we'll give you 3 shillings of gold. Okay. So this started, centuries ago. So this is something, it's starting to come into play be a little more mainstream now. But man, it's an ideology that has to be overcome up here first. Okay. Yeah. That I don't have to go clock in to get paid.
Yeah.
And And once people, honestly, dude, and you know this, once you can wrap your mind around it, I think once people understand how residual income works, you will walk through a fucking brick wall to get to it. You know what I mean? Um, Days, man, I'm just like, I don't want to do anything. But then I'm like, I'm not going to make any money today. I know, yeah, I get paid, here, once a month or whatever from the residuals, but I'm like, I want to make money every day.
Yeah.
I am making money every day. I get that deposited into my bank account once a month, right? But if I go out and sign up a new client, I get a bonus. It's kind of cool. Gas money, maybe go somewhere for the weekend, whatever the case is. But then that just builds that residual up. So I just keep myself moving. I figure I'm going to give myself, I don't know, I could do this for the next 40 years. Honestly, I love what I'm doing, and it's not work, man. I can choose to work Monday and Tuesday and have the rest of the week off, or work Monday through Saturday, Monday through Sunday.
What is your schedule like typically, man? Because it's so funny. Sometimes I'll catch you and it's like a day off, and other times I'll catch you and you're working. And I never noticed any pattern. It's not like you take a weekend off, because there's sometimes where you're like, Friday, you're saying it sarcastically, typically.
Yeah.
And you're like working
always
through the weekend. So is there like any, are you just kind of spontaneous on your days off?
Yeah, I take them when I can, and it's not necessarily a day off. It's my daughter. Okay, she's kind of the driving force. She's a manager at Coach, so that's a retail store. So she works retail hours.
Yeah.
So she's off Tuesday and Wednesday, and we want to go do something. I'll take Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll go do something, right? So it just kind of, and plus too with my clients, man, some of these folks, they might not have a chance to talk to me until Sunday. So I'm like, okay, well, I've got 2 people I'm working with on Sunday, so you know what? I'm not going to do anything Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Because if I have to do something on a Sunday, I overcompensate for that, right?
Yeah. Makes sense.
But yeah, I could be a little more rigid with it, but I tend to let life kind of flow.
If it feels right, you just do it then.
Yeah. And, I have goals every day that are set. And once I meet those, I'm cool, right? I can go beyond that. And sometimes I have to push myself just to hit the goal for the day. And that's okay. It could be a 4-hour day. It could be a 12 or 14-hour day.
You don't strike me as someone, though, that, you meet a goal and you're done early by meeting that goal. That
No.
You're gonna stop. Because it seems to me like you're the type of person, you go, okay, I want to pick up 10 new clients today, and I want to contact at least 100 new people. I'm sure that may be way
it's
back.
Exaggerated a little bit, but yeah.
And you probably end up meeting that. It's like 4 hours into your workday, and you're like, well, what else am I going to do today? I know you're going to probably be the type of person that you're going to want to not just, meet that daily minimum. It seems like you're going to want to exceed that daily minimum.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the goals basically, and this is what I've always told everybody, anybody I've ever worked with or trained, you set yourself a goal. That's just kind of a target, right? There's no reason if you achieve that target, 3 days into your month, however you're set up, 3 days into your month, 3 hours into your day, guess what? You still got a lot more to go. So now you can exceed that target to put yourself, and there are times, man, where you don't hit deadlines or you don't meet a goal 100%. Sorry, it's life, right? So that's okay. But if you take those days where you've met what you've already targeted, and then you exceed it, the median kind of levels out a little bit, to where if you don't hit that one target on that day, you've kind of the compensation, it levels out. So it's the way that I look at it. I don't know, dude. This is crazy. I'm glad we're talking about it, because that's kind of the way the week's been, man. Is like, I had a lot of stuff I had to do on Monday that didn't even really involve work. But then yesterday and today, I've just been going nuts with it. I actually spent an hour and a half out in the field on lunch break, right? People take their lunch breaks. I'm sitting there eating a burrito and I'm making phone calls, scheduling appointments, trying to get a hold of people, for tomorrow and beyond. So if I'm not in front of somebody talking to them about what I can do and, how I can benefit their business, I'm trying to call somebody to get in front of somebody. You know what I mean? All the time. So
yeah. Very
Yeah,
cool, man.
it's
That's
it's
cool.
fun. It's fun. So you, dude, you look like you got a little bit of sun, but
I managed to kind of keep myself covered up over in the old Puerto
yeah,
Rico and shit. Yeah, you
Puerto
go out
Rico.
there and I tell you, instead of me just going bloviating about it, really it was just time to spend with family. My sister-in-law got married,
Nice.
and they did it right there on the beach. So that makes two in her family. So I think that their youngest sibling needs to go get married on the beach, and it'll be a trifecta for the entire Haas girls family. So
Nice.
yeah, it was a good time. It was wonderful. Spent some great time. Despite everybody else having drinks, I'm just not a drinker anymore. Not even
Sure.
to
Sure.
toast anybody, because I'd rather just toast with a glass of water. I'm not, and it's not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not an alcoholic by any stretch, but I just don't have any desire to drink alcohol. To me, it's a poison, and I don't want to have any bit touch my tongue. That's just the way I am. I'm kind of funny like
Sure.
that. But other than that, everybody had a great time. I had awesome time spending. I got time I could actually just sit down and speak one-on-one with my sister-in-law, and of course my current brother-in-law, her husband, Julian, is just tremendous. Which we actually had those two on our show early on. Actually, it was our last Blog Talk Radio transmission.
Was it back in March?
That seems about right. Yeah, that seems about right. Because, you and I had done the trial month on Blog Talk Radio, and I explained to them how you and I have made the transition since over into YouTube. And it's so crazy. Well, hopefully, we're going to go over into that territory here in just a minute here and talk about YouTube and the changes they've done through Google Hangout on Air, because I think that's probably something we'll probably hang about on and talk just a little bit about, especially the opportunity that's available there. But any event, they were on Blog Talk Radio. I explained to them, and they are excited, of course, not only for us getting into town, but also the opportunities that we're going to have. They cannot wait. They of course, Julian and Carrie are just ever the humble hosts. They want to make sure they spoil you when I get into town. So we're probably going to do like a roundtable of sorts. We're going to have those two come on in, or one or both of them, and have them sit in on the Bootstrap Businessmen episodes and such. And they're very excited about it. I said, it's going to be even more fun in person, because it's going to be essentially a round table. We'll have my fancy little mic. We'll probably put the Apple across the room and just videotape the gang of us here and put it on Hangout on Air. Of course, we're going to go back to the live interviews. And it's something that you and I haven't really talked about. We just kind of said we'll get back to it eventually, but I think we'll probably just let's see about making it pretty exclusive, maybe like once per month, getting in. I think you had mentioned that you have an up and coming rapper in your wings that you were talking about bringing in.
Yeah, when we first talked about that, you're like, hey, go ahead, do a one-on-one with them to get him on. Well, here's my mindset. I gave him my contact information. Yeah. I'm like, if the dude's serious and wants to do it, he'll get a hold of me. That was a few weeks ago. Maybe a month even. Yeah, it's been a minute. And just got an email from him the other day. Sent all of his information, his website. He's actually pretty good. I mean, for the music, I don't really get into too much of it anymore. I'm still stuck in the 90s with, Ice Cube and Tupac. That's about as far as I go with it. But he's actually really good. Nice. He's got a good flow and a good tone to his voice. So I was like, this would be kind of cool, bring him on the show, talk about his experience, because, building this from the ground up, hustling around, trying to find a recording studio, selling cans, to, aluminum cans, earn money to, make a demo or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's got a good story with it too. It's not like this dude's just like, hey, I got a couple songs here, throw them out. He's actually got a good story to building his brand. So, tremendous young man. Yeah.
Well, I certainly hope we can get him on the show. And I know that we had a couple other requests to bring some other people back. Of course, Christmas Abbott was one of the people that actually discussed was Christmas getting her back in on the show.
That was your request, wasn't it?
No, that was her personal request. Actually, if you remember, it was like, we're gonna kind of keep it, tapered down because we don't want this to kind of turn into a bit of an albatross, because it was becoming, nothing against the guests that were coming to our show, but here's the issue: when it comes to Bootstrap Businessmen, we just wanted to have it to where it was you and I talking about business, about some of the opportunities that are out there. And we thought, okay, let's bring in some guests. Well, the next thing we know, it was an avalanche of guests.
3 months,
and
3 months.
And it was becoming a job. And you and I both know we don't want a job. If we want a job, you know, we would, you know, just go to the man and get ourselves some easy money. But it's not. So we wanted to kind of bring that down a little bit. And of course, now that you and I will be in person, I think we're going to have so much more entertainment, especially just being in a roundtable type format. And then the really cool thing is, too, we've got a lot of opportunity out in the Midwest with all my contacts that I have out towards that direction, between wrestlers and musicians to, you know, everything else in between, you know, personal trainers. So we will never be lacking the people to get out there. But here's the really big opportunity, and this is where it's going to lead into, hopefully, our conversation for the day is going to be what we were doing before. So the progression since February the 2nd, I believe, was the beginning of our show. We originally were shooting for weekly, and then we did bi-weekly, and we discovered bi-weekly was becoming too much, and we tapered it back down to weekly again. But we started out on Blog Talk Radio because we thought, well, there's a good opportunity here. But unfortunately, it kind of put us back into like a half-hour time slot, and you and I, we can't have a half hour and do it justice. It was we were doing point by point type things, and it was fun, but yet it was
scripted,
really,
man. It was robotic.
It was too regimented, and that's not something that's us, you know. And so I think that, you know, since we were able to kind of go into things, we've had a lot more fun without that regimented feel. And then we tried to do the full subscription to Blog Talk Radio, but unfortunately, they set expectations high, but they didn't deliver, in my opinion. So
not at all.
No, you know, they discussing driving traffic and things like that. I didn't see any change in our numbers at all. There wasn't additional viewers. We were keyword savvy in a lot of our things, but so that's where we started to entertain. You and I said, well, let's do Google Hangouts on air. It's something that other people were doing. And essentially what you were doing is you could go to Google Hangouts. All right. So if you've got a Gmail account, you can go to Google and you'd set up these Hangouts on air, and it would record directly over YouTube. It would process within a half hour to an hour after you're done with your broadcast, and it would put it up over into your YouTube channel.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Well, fast forward to just this past week on September the 12th. It's actually been about a month or two now that they had made the announcement that, hey, look, no more Google Hangout on air. It's actually going to be supported over at YouTube. Okay. I saw live streaming before, and I was led to believe only encoding was allowed, like encoding software. I'm a cheap ass. We're
bootstrappers, man.
Yeah, you're going to know that it's like, if it's going to cost anything, whether it be money or time, you're not going to do it. Now, see, money is not going to be an issue when it comes to encoding software, but it was just that learning curve. I didn't want to have to deal with figuring out encoding software, or much less what the fuck encoding means in the first place.
Sure.
So in any event, you know, you found out while I was on vacation. You sent me a screen capture. You're like, dude, no. It's live stream. You don't need encoding. Now, here's the good thing, Kevin. You can actually do the encoding stuff still. I don't know. There might be a difference as far as quality goes when it goes to using encoding. But for the most part, I just chose just the quick and easy way. And I just said, screw it. Let's just live stream and do it. And it's still called Google Hangout on air.
Yeah, right through YouTube. No, the only difference with the encoding software, what I found with that, is if you want to do like a special events or something, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, if you want to have a marathon or a fundraiser or something like that, some kind of special event that sets, you know, there's a special date for it, all of this, then you have to get into doing, there's a software you have to get into. But just doing what we're doing, dude, free. I like free.
Free's my favorite cost, man. I tell you, that's something speaks volumes to me. So I'm talking with some of my tubers, as we call them, or YouTubers, or tube buddies, or whatever you want to call it. Well, actually, tube buddies is the name of the plugin, but my tube friends, the mastermind group on Facebook, we all been discussing, of course, this big change for like the last couple of weeks, and from my understanding, they're saying that it's working somewhat like Facebook Live, and that YouTube will show those channel creators or the video creators a little more love for using Google Hangouts on air. Now, here's the difference between Google Hangouts on air before and after. Before, you could, you know, put the title, and you could put the description, but you couldn't put any tags. Now, mind you, I didn't fuck with tags today because I just didn't feel like, screwing with it. Tags essentially is a way of doing, not like tags as in, book description. Tags are
I know.
actually like the keywords that, the metadata that the audience isn't going to see, but essentially helps drive, your customers over towards you, the people that are looking for your particular keywords. So in any event, you're able to put those things in there. So, of course, that gives you a little bit more of a leg up than what you had before. Now, with that being said, if they're kind of doing it the same way like Facebook Live does, now, see what Facebook Live is like is you run Facebook Live over on your phone. Yay. And
hey, buddy.
Engagement works really well. I noticed, like, I'll put a post up at, say, 4 o'clock on a day, and I'll have, like, I don't know, 30 likes within the first, day. But here's the cool thing. I do a live. It lets everybody know within my friend network and drive that traffic over to that direction. And here's the really cool thing is the more engagement you have on that Facebook Live channel, the more it'll push up to the top of people's news feed, therefore showing more and more love. Well, I guess that it's something like that with YouTube to where, it's putting you in front of more people. So here's the really cool thing. We go live. We can tweet it, and we can also put it on Google Plus automatically, which we did, because I said this is our second. Oh, hey, look, my cat decided she's going to show up today.
If I can see her a little bit.
Yeah, her little diluted tail. But in any event, you got the Google Plus, you have the Twitter, it'll send it on out, and then you've got the tags now. And in theory, if YouTube's showing more love to the live people, then that means it's going to generate more traffic, and more traffic means, of course, the more likely they're going to send people back to watch your episodes later after it's live. And that right there, of course, eventually leads to more subscribers. More subscribers equals more views, more likes, more engagement. More engagement means eventually, of course, we're going to move ourselves up to monetization, which actually I shut off monetization a while ago. One of the pros actually explained to me, don't hit monetization until you've broken. Don't rub your tooth on me. She does this. People that are listening probably like, wonder what the hell. My cat rubs her face.
What's going on?
Yeah. I lost my fucking train of. Thank you very much. She had to get her 2 seconds of fame. So here we go, everybody. There's my cat. She's her yeah, say hello.
She missed you.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
This is what.
That's what's showing up, huh?
Yeah, it says live.
Yeah, my ugly mug. So in any event, one of the top YouTubers had told me, and this is a dude that has his like in the tens of thousands subscribers.
Wow.
He said, don't turn on that monetization until you have about 1,000, because you got to think about this. People have to jump through hoops. Now, unfortunately, I know I have monetization set on this live video. I just didn't shut it off because you have to go into the advanced settings, and I just wanted to get things fired off and get us rocking and rolling. So the Q&A feature I've noticed is gone. That is not on here at this point. I'm sure someone probably go, yeah, well, actually, if you set it over, I'm not, whatever. Okay, we'll cross that bridge. And considering our amount of viewers and the times that we've had Q&A used, which is a big fat 0, I'm not even going to entertain that at this point. So in the event that you guys have questions, concerns, comments, obviously leave them in the video, down below the video, inside the comments, and we'll definitely get to it. As per usual, if you are interested in a shout out, or if you want to be interviewed in the very near future, I really highly recommend you get a hold of us at bootstrapbusinessmen@gmail.com. Once again, that's bootstrapbusinessmen@gmail.com. And, like I said, we can just do it just a simple shout out. Hey, no big deal. We're not asking for money. If anything, we'll just go ahead and pimp your stuff. So if you've got a book that you're releasing, we'll say something about your book. If you've got a video, or if you just want somebody to just say, hey, look, my name is Dildo Baggins, and I just want you to say what's up. So what's up, Dildo Baggins? That's what is shaking down in the YouTube front. So the big deal was, a lot of people were freaking out. It's like anytime changes.
There were a lot.
Oh, yeah, man. People are just like, it's the sky is falling type mentality. This
Google trying to control everything. That's what less of us reading.
Gosh,
yeah, it's horrible.
It kills me. They're trying to really optimize the whole process. And I say kudos to them. Yeah, change is going to be inevitable. It reminds me actually about a little over a year ago. It was actually July 2015. Going to kind of take a sidestep over to self-publishing. When we used to get paid, if your book was in KDP Select, this is really kind of cool. You would have loved this back in the day. you actually, prior to July of 2015, if someone checked out your book and they read 10% of your book, you were paid about $1.30, $1.40. It was, depending on the market share. Yeah, just 10%. So if you had a 10-page book and someone flipped one page, done deal. You got paid $1 something, like $1.40. It was like $1.30 to $1.40, somewhere about there. It varied per month. Well, then they changed the format over to pages flipped. So it made a little bit more sense for those people that are busting their ass. They put out a 500-page, epic, masterpiece of a novel.
Sure.
And then you got this other clown who put out a 10-page, book on fucking scratching your ass.
Getting paid the same.
Dude, there was one, I seen one, it was like, it showed a picture of Osama bin Laden on the cover. And this is before his capturing, or his capturing, his being killed, or
his demise.
His demise. There we go. Okay. And any of you conspiracy theorists, I don't want to fucking hear your shit. I don't give a fuck. So just say for the sake of before the
he's gone.
Okay, his supposed demise. Okay. Anyway, this guy put it on. It was like, my pal Osama bin Laden, our brush with Osama bin Laden. It was something crazy. It was a shitty cover, which I want to find that motherfucker so I can actually put that on Crap or Clap. It was the shittiest looking cover, but that fucking shit was getting ranked, and it actually literally had, ready for this, 5 fucking pages, 5 fucking pages, and that
5
motherfucker,
pages.
Yeah, and he was getting it fucking ranked. That means that some dumb motherfuckers like me were going and checking it out on Kindle Unlimited, and all you had to do was just flip through a couple pages, and that dude was getting about $1 something or rather, $1.30, we'll say.
Wow.
For that 10%. And, all he needed was just, a few hundred flips. And that dude was making bank. Well, It made that a transition over to pages flipped, which is about a half cent or less, depending on, what, the month is as far as payout, yada, yada. But, it flipped it over there. Well, all these people that were working the system freaked the fuck out. Oh, my God, the sky's falling. But, the thing is, change creates a new opportunity. Sure. It creates something big. And, I'm not afraid to come on and say it right now. My good buddy Dave Koziel came up with a method called the 10X method. And It was pretty much, he figured out a way that, he'd take one book, stuff the motherfucker full of like 10, 20 fucking bonus books. He'd put a link at the beginning saying, hey, check this out. And it would go to the end. And then it would pretty much tell Kindle, or you should tell Amazon that, hey, this person flipped through thousands of pages, and it would pay people out. Is it right? Is it wrong? Up for debate. It was something that I tested out, but I didn't feel comfortable with, and I ended up having to get out of that fucking shit. And good for me, because they started fucking suspending and banning people left and fucking right come February this year, when they found everybody was just like, oh, they're working the system. Here's the funny thing. Amazon said, oh, no, that's cool. And then they came back, they're like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to do that.
They're like, oh, it's fine. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, we changed our mind.
Yeah, and so, of course, everybody started freaking the fuck out. Again, Chicken Little, sky is falling. So this all, there's good reason for me sharing this story. It just reminds me of this whole Google Hangout on Air being transitioned over to YouTube. People said sky is falling. What you and I were like? We're just like, let's wait for the dust to settle and fuck it. We'll just figure out a game plan. And sure enough, you were just like, hey, look, it's this easy. You just click this button. I was like, well, that's easy. They made it easier for us. And if anything, they optimized it for us. So there's an opportunity here, folks. That's the reason why I want to kind of say is right now, if you've got a Gmail account, you have a YouTube channel. Okay. All you need to do is just get it set up and start doing something. Yeah. Work on something that could be a hobby. Be it, for instance, my wife's cousin, Emily Coleman, actually has which, by the way, I need to send that link to you, has an awesome channel on sculpting.
Ooh.
Dude, she's brilliant.
Cool.
Like, oh, man, yeah, just great shit. Now, she doesn't, use it for business. I think she just kind of does it for fun. She has, like, maybe half a dozen videos up, but it's really neat.
Oh, yeah.
But, cool. It just goes to show, regardless of what your skill set is or your knowledge, you can start. This is an opportunity, and mark my word, okay? This is a new era, I think those that break ground now are going to benefit huge. So I think that once when you and I get on out, I have a feeling we're going to do our weekly thing, but I have a feeling you and I are probably going to meet up every now and then. We're going to be like, I'm going to look over you and be like, you want to do a hangout? You'd be like, I'll do a hangout. Let's do a hangout. And we'll get on. We'll do a hangout.
I'll do
Yeah,
it.
fuck it. In fact, I'm finishing up today the paperback for Grumpy Gus Beats the Blues. 'Cause I
Number
was
one bestseller.
trying, yeah, number one bestseller. Yeah, I'd made one before I'd left, but I was doing it sleep addled. It was half-assed. I got a notification the next day, and it didn't set well in my stomach. I was like, no, I can't half-ass that because I was afraid if someone bought it, they're going to look at it and be very disappointed. And I don't want a
Sure.
kid to pick it up and be disappointed. I want them to pick it up and go, wow, this is neat. I want them to, it's like a feast for the eyes for children.
Sure.
And, you know, a lot of people are really kind of thrown off and they're like, oh my gosh, this foul-mouthed guy that says, you know, really ridiculous jokes. He's making a kid's book. I'm still a kid at heart. I love cartoons. I love great lessons. I love things
Bob
that
Saget
really,
was the dad on whatever that stinging show was.
yeah, on Full House. Full House. Yeah. Bob Saget. Oh my gosh, he's way worse than me, man.
Yeah.
Way worse than me. But you know, yeah, that's a great point. You know, and so yeah, the paperback, it's coming along. I'm probably about 3/4 of the way through, because see, I have to do all the pictures over again. So I have to do all the layers of the background, the monkey, and then the text. So I'm 3/4 of the way through just doing the pictures right now. And then I got to go back through and do all the text on each one of them. So it's going to be formatted a bit different on the paperback. As soon as the paperback's done, I'm going to have it switched to PDF. And when it's done to PDF, I'm going to take it, dump it over into GIMP. I'm going to make it black and white, make it line art. So I pull out all the colors. So that way it's just the lines. And I'm going to make a coloring book for it as well. And then, you ready for this? Probably this weekend or possibly going into next week, I actually will record my first audiobook and try my hand at audiobooks. So
It's going to be exciting.
yeah, it is. Actually, I could probably use some of my voices, some of my voices. You know, it's going to be kind of fun to kind of create what Grumpy Gus sounds like and what Louie Lou sounds like. I have a feeling I'll probably get Kelly in on it as well, so we can actually we can provide something a bit different in the audiobook,
Sure.
platform. You know, there are other people that out there do that. They do multiple voices in books. For instance, great one, the guy from Nerd Fitness. I can't think of his name right now, but it's called Level Up Your Life. Wonderful read. If you guys get a chance, you can always go into the description below, click on the Amazon link. You go over, just search up Level Up Your Life. And God, why can't I think of his name? But he's the Steve Kamb. That's it. Steve Kamb, Kamb. But at any rate, a good read. And on audiobook, actually had listened to it, and he had probably four narrators, maybe 5, because what he would do is he'd had testimonials interspersed throughout the book. And the testimonials were read by different people. Now, I don't know that it was necessarily the people that had wrote the testimonials per se, but they would do different voices for those, and it was really kind of neat. So I think doing this audiobook is going to be fun with, you know, Kelly's been loving the voiceover stuff. And we thought, well, if there's any time for us to try audiobook, now would be the time, because I'm sure the book's going to take us all of 4 minutes to, you know, as far as 4 minutes of content. And you remember something that, you know, we learned in one of our previous episodes, for those of you listening or watching, go back to the episode where we actually interviewed my narrator, Morris R. Cravens, the third, right? Or the second?
Yeah, I think he said the third. Is he still MIA?
Yeah, he's MIA. The funny thing is there's action, you know, going on over in Twitter. I sent him a message. He's not returning it. So he's not showing me any love. Who knows? Maybe he ended up watching one of my self-publishing with Dale L. Roberts videos.
Nice.
Left and right. Well, you know, the funny thing is, you know, well, I don't want to get too far, of course. We'll eventually get on over there to that whole self-publishing with Dale L. Roberts.
Sure.
But in event, yeah, we're looking forward to doing the audiobook, because we figure if it's just going to be about 4 minutes of content, you know, what's the worst can happen? We'll go ahead, we'll get Audacity. We've got the microphone. We'll see if we can play with the levels, and we'll go ahead and upload it ourselves and try to keep most of the royalties. And the two of us were discussing today when we got out of the gym, we're actually entertaining the idea of actually just jumping over ACX if we can, and directly uploading it to Amazon. And if we can directly upload it to Audible and iTunes, of course, you already know how to put things onto iTunes, because plug, Bootstrap Businessmen is on iTunes.
Yeah, so we need to start putting that link in our descriptions too for iTunes. I always forget that there's some people that are avid Apple lovers with their iPhones and everything and iPads.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always, it's either Kindle or Android seem to be the two biggest, right?
Yeah.
But there are the people that buy the iBooks and iTunes. So yeah. We got to start doing that, man. I always forget about it.
It's funny. Actually, yesterday was released the Smashwords one on my self-publishing with Dale L. Roberts. And Smashwords, part of the residual. See, it's a different platform for distributing your book. So if you've got a book that's not doing well, it's pretty much what the video says. If you got a book that's not doing so well on KDP Select, opt out and go publish it to Smashwords, because Smashwords will send it out to 17 plus distribution platforms. So it'll send it out, boom, 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 boom. And three of the big ones are going to be Barnes & Noble, which is Nook, iTunes or iBooks through Apple, and then last but not least is Kobo. And those three are very big. And actually, those three actually provide a decent little paycheck for me from Smashwords. And here's the funny thing is I never really think about Smashwords. I just kind of put it up and I forget about it because they pay you every 3 months via PayPal. Well, all of a sudden my PayPal will go, whoop, and I'll be like, what the hell? I'm like, I'll look over, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm getting paid by Smashwords. And,
like, oh yeah, I got books over there.
Yeah, it's a bonus, And here's the nice thing is all those books that I put over to Smashwords were, they were pretty much dying on the vine anyway. So I'm like, well, fuck it. Sure. We might as well go ahead and take it for one more little run. They had all these people doing this whole republishing bullshit when it's like, why do you republish that piece of shit? I understand you're going to want to work the system, but you're fucking the customer in the meantime. That piece of crap off of KDP Select, leave it on Amazon, put it out to the other platforms and move on. Put out some other fucking work. It's very clear that no one wants your fucking book. So stop republishing that piece of shit. That's pretty much what I'm trying to get to. And it's the nice thing is I'm hearing from Kelly, like a lot more people, and I'm not sitting there, celebrating fucking people, losing their revenue. But I mean, you've been told there should be bells and whistles going off in your head that something's wrong with republishing your content. And especially when people are getting suspended or banned. I'm like, oh, I don't understand what's the matter. Well, you're trying to fucking steal money from Amazon is what you're doing. You're trying to fool the customer into buying your bullshit. And people aren't buying it. So if people aren't buying it, put it to a wider distribution channel or just take the motherfucker off the market. If it's that much of a steaming pile of shit, pull it off.
Dude, all they have to do is just go grab a copy of 10 Guiding Principles of the Ethical Entrepreneur. That'll clear it all up for them.
Yes, it would, yes. Well, of course, available in Spanish, Portuguese, German, French.
Audiobook, yeah. Actually, we got a couple covers to do, my friend. Soul Food is finished also for Portuguese.
Oh, crap. Damn, dude.
So
cooking on the front burner, man.
Crazy.
I know that Babel Cube, I'm way behind because, with me being, usually I do my content on Friday. I've got about 2 weeks worth for me this coming Friday that's backed up. I actually had a few people that made offers and canceled because I didn't, I'm like,
whatever.
If you don't want to do it, I've discovered with Babel Cube, and the verdict is out on this one. The verdict's, the jury's back in on this one, and the verdict is out. It's, I'm just not working Babel Cube anymore. I think that whatever titles that are on it right now, I'll just go ahead and continue to kind of do them in the languages, but I'm not putting any more up. It's just, unfortunately, I just don't have enough faith and confidence in what Babel Cube's doing. And
well, yeah, I've read a few different articles about it. Everybody loves, being able to find a translator, share the royalties. That's perfect because you don't have to pay somebody, $250 to $1,000 depending on the size of your book and everything to get a translator, right?
Right.
But they said if Babel Cube can figure out how to actually sell the books would be the good thing.
Yeah, that's the thing is they throw it against the wall and see if
hope somebody picks it up.
Yeah,
because
business is not set up on hope. Any business is not on hope. If you try to fucking run your business on hope, you are fucking done. And see, here's the thing: is Babel Cube. If you're listening to this, or if anybody actually could send a soundbite to him, Babel Cube, come on, guys. You're fucking slower than molasses in January. I mean, shit. I've seen cement dry quicker than what you guys do. And if you can't handle that workload, shut down your site or hire more people that can fucking handle it because your shit goes way too slow. I could literally take the same fucking translations that I've been uploading to your thing. Takes you about a fucking month to do it. I can do it in 5 fucking minutes. 5 minutes, literally.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? So if you're going to be in a business, guys, here's the big lesson. You know, don't commit to something. Don't think about a worst case scenario, because what happens if all of a sudden people start to like, oh my God, this is a cool idea, and you're not able to handle that workload.
Right.
And I think that's clearly what BabelCube is doing. I don't know if they're functioning on 2 or 3 staff members. It's slow as shit.
One guy with a laptop, you know, and a wireless mouse, and
I really get that feeling because, you know, Kelly
dial-up
has
internet.
up. I'll have my shit up. Like, I literally, at this point, I'm not even compelled to put up my publications fast because I know it's going to take fucking forever.
Well, here's the thing, man. We sent 10 guiding principles to BabelCube. What, 4 months ago? It's at least 4 months. It's been with them.
It's been a while.
It's still not published to all their channels.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm like, really, really, Google takes this long? No, Google doesn't take this long. It's not up on Amazon yet. I think it's in iTunes. I think it's in iTunes and Nook. So for Barnes & Noble, those 2 for sure are done. But the rest of the list, what is there, 12? Yeah, says publishing, and it said publishing for 3.5 months.
Yeah, you almost get the feeling like they're just so backed up with work that they're just kind of like
the dial-up internet connection is slow, bro. So
like where are they fucking at? Are they like down in fucking Antarctica where like the dial-up is slow, like fucking shit? You know, they're like, let's put this on carrier pigeon and we'll send it on over to somebody over in fucking Guatemala.
Yeah, it's a great platform, and what they honestly, I mean, it's great to have it all on like iTunes and for Barnes and Noble, but why wouldn't they have just established their own platform to where people could go and purchase the translated copies on their site? Like, just create their own site.
Brilliant, kind of like what Smashwords does. Essentially, Smashwords is a distribution channel, and they also make the shit available right there. That would be, you know, there's a business idea. If anybody's willing to kind of fucking put their balls out there on the fucking chopping block, you know, hit me up. bootstrapbusinessmen@gmail.com, man. I got some fucking publications out the motherfucking ass, and I would be willing to take at least a gamble on 1 or 2 publications. Sure. Put it over to that platform if you're willing to kind of do something like Smashwords for translators. And you know, I don't expect a lot, but I mean, when your shit is slow, that really time is irreplaceable. And here's the thing is, if I can go ahead and hire a translation for, like, say, a book for like $50 to $100 to get it translated, I just rather do the $50 to $100 rather than just let it sit here doing nothing. Shit.
And I feel bad for the translators that have done the books, because here's where we're at, bro. We've got 10 is in 2 different languages now besides Spanish. Okay, so those covers need to be done. Fail to Succeed is in 3 languages. Soul Food is in 2 languages. And Teddy Bear Shifter is in 2 different languages and stuff right now too. So all of that has to be done, but I'm sitting here looking at 10 guiding principles. Simple ass book. What, 18, 19 pages to this thing, right? You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it still says publishing. And I'm like, why are we going to spend all of this time and all of this energy and it's just not going anywhere? Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. That's too much time. I don't even log in anymore. I get a notification in the email says your book has been completed, and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
you know,
la-di-da.
Okay.
La-di-da.
But I feel bad for the translators because they're wasting their time, and they're not making any money.
And that's the part that really kind of bothers me the most, is because I almost feel like it comes back on me, because BabelCube's going super slow. Well, I'm translating for you, and your book's not getting up here. And I'm kind of like, you know, there's mustard on my face and not BabelCube's face. And that's what really kind of bothers me and irks me. And that's why, like I said, I'm pretty much going to be like the titles that are up, which I think I got about a couple dozen titles up right now. Thank God I didn't put my entire catalog up.
Yeah, no kidding.
I had that intention until I started becoming frustrated when I saw how slow they were putting things out. Now, the earnings are starting to come in slowly but surely. But it's seriously, I'm telling you this right now, I make more on ACX in a single month than I do with any one or any of the titles put together right now. And I'm telling you, ACX doesn't draw me that much money. It gives me a good pocket change, but for the most part, it's not that great. But here's the thing with ACX, I don't really have to do much work. You know,
No,
the narrator takes care of most of the work, and that's done. Whereas BabelCube, there's a lot of work you got to do on that.
there is quite a bit. I mean, especially redoing all those covers,
Mm-hmm.
with the translation, making the font fit correctly. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
They do give you the option to do a paperback on there too. Are any of yours on paperback form?
I did one. I did
Did
one with the
one?
green smoothies one. But the
Oh
thing is,
yeah,
I became so backed up with work. I said, well, screw it. Let me go ahead and get them all done on Kindle for now, and I'll come back and do paperback. And
sure.
I haven't seen a single purchase on paperback for the green smoothies book, which was the paperback version. And my thought is, if that's not going to be drawing anything, well, what the hell is the purpose of me going to do paperback? I know that's kind of a defeatist mentality, but the thing is, you and I both know formatting a paperback it's not easy. It does take,
No,
it does take
especially
a
in a
few
different
minutes.
language.
Yeah, exactly. And see that it kind of tweaks my fucking nipples, man. I'm telling you, right there. It's just I try to focus. See, here's the thing: is what it comes down to. It's the 80-20 principle. Okay, you
Yeah.
need to be focusing on the 20% of the things that give you 80% of your fucking results. And here's the thing: is BabelCube does not fall underneath 20%. Does
No.
not. It is fucking
Well,
that other fluff 80% stuff that just really distracts you at the end of the day. Where I could be spending about a few hours on working BabelCube, I could take a few hours and put out a new book.
yeah, absolutely. And one of the things too, as a business owner, entrepreneur, whatever you're doing in life, just as a person, right? You always try to grow forward. Okay, with this platform, it's causing you to stop or even look back sometimes, which honestly, it puts a detour or roadblock in your motivation and your forward momentum. So, this is a good lesson for people to learn. It's great to try new tips or tricks or strategies for your business, but you have to pay attention quickly. Is it slowing you down? If it is, cut it loose. Cut it loose because you want to move forward faster, not sideways. You want to go forward.
Absolutely.
So it's a good lesson, man. Yeah,
You have to cut off the dead weight. Here's the thing: is
you
some
have
people
to.
get so it's something I think I heard Gary Vee say at one point or another. Too many people romanticize their fucking business. They're too
Yeah,
fucking emotionally attached to their business that when something starts to distract or take away from the bottom line, they're like, oh well, it's gonna work. There comes a point where you have to actually stop being so romantic about your business. Understand, it's dollars and
just
cents.
go.
Does it make sense to be losing a lot of time and a lot of dollars if you keep doing this? And that's the thing, is that's what I'm looking at as far as what BabelCube goes, is at this
Sure.
point, it just turns into a bit of a hobby because it's not going to pay my fucking bills. It's not paying my bills.
No.
Here's the bottom line: is I just much rather at this point just hire the translators. And here's the reason why I went to BabelCube was I wanted to save money and I wanted to save time. Well, in essence, all I did was save money and I added more time to my schedule. So it was almost like I was at a loss. And see, unfortunately, here's the thing: is guys, gals, everybody that's business minded, don't go balls deep into something that you can't be fucking with. Okay? Yes, take that literally. Don't go balls deep into something that you can't be fucking. Okay? Don't put your dick into things, because you never know if you put your dick inside a blender. You're gonna be losing that thing. Okay? So here's the
It's not a
bottom
good
line.
choice.
Yeah, it really is. And thankfully, you noticed, of course, my recent success before I went on vacation. We talked about this back this past Wednesday. Grumpy Gus Beats the Blues, #1 bestseller. Man, that thing became #1 overnight. Now, it's kind of dropped off a bit, and it came back up while I was on vacation, which I was pretty happy about that.
Sure.
But, the thing is, it shows that it has potential. So since it shows it has potential, I'll be able to build a platform on this, and I think it's going to have huge success over the long term. So is it making millions of dollars right at this point? Not by any stretch. But at this point, it's making me enough to know that I can actually step a little bit more. So yeah, I can actually feel like that's time well invested. I was speaking, furthermore with Kelly about the potential for translating the book to Spanish, at least, because Spanish, that's a huge market. And since there's so few words, like literally there's 350 words inside this kid's book.
It'd take you maybe an hour to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go get it translated professionally. And then she and I were talking, well, the both of us, pretty much have at least a tenuous grasp on the Spanish language, that we could probably just, at least go in and try to read that. and I'll put it not only through English but also Spanish. And now think about this: is if we actually put it onto the different platforms in those particular ways, we'll be able to collect 100% of the audiobooks. And I think audiobooks going to be huge. It's going to be huge when it comes to that particular thing, because I remember as a kid, did you ever have this, dude? Did you ever have the records?
Oh yeah, man.
Books? Oh man.
Yeah.
Fox and the Hound. Let's see here. That was one.
Little Engine That Could was a good one.
Green Eggs and Ham. Fox and Socks. Man, yeah. I just remember actually Fox and the Hound. I had the. This is sad. This is one of the things that burnt down in our house fire a number of years ago with Fox and Hound. And maybe Walt has it. I could be off on this one. Walt might have it. It's actually a cartoon record. It shows the record, but on the vinyl itself, it shows the Fox and the Hound where they're young on one side, and you flip it over to the other side, it shows them when they're older in the cartoon.
Okay.
And it's a collector's edition, so hopefully Walt has it. I know that he made off with quite a few records from our childhood, so it's a good chance that he probably actually might have both those.
That's
records.
cool. I was just going to ask you. You said Spanish for the audiobook.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question. I don't know. I just started thinking about it. All the audiobooks that we have up, can we go back in there and have them reposted to be in a different language on ACX, or no?
If we've done it through BabelCube, no, because they own the distribution rights.
No. I'm just talking about the books that we've already got up that already have ACX, right? So say like Fail to Succeed. Okay. It's already on ACX. Can we go to ACX? Are there Spanish translators that'll do it within ACX?
That I don't know. I imagine there probably is. I haven't looked for one before.
Okay.
I bet that whoever is a Spanish-speaking voiceover talent, they're going to be making a pretty good fucking decent income, because I'm telling you,
imagine. It's huge.
The Spanish language is a huge, huge market. That's just in the United States alone. You go further out. For instance, one of my first #1 bestsellers, that I did through Kelly, one of the romance books that actually she put out, it actually was a #1 bestseller over in Spain. And, and that was really, really cool, because I wrote it in English. We had it translated, not in BabelCube. We had it translated professionally. And that thing went to number 64 in the paid store. Number 64. Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that actually did far better than any of my books at all, ever. So, and unfortunately, I still won't reveal to people what the name was. But if it was to me, maybe I'll give you a hint. So it's
someday.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll eventually come out at some point or another. Actually, it's very funny. Underneath this assumed name, I have an email list. It does phenomenally well, which I didn't check out in my last 2 reports that I have from that, because I was on vacation last week, and of course yesterday another one got shot out. But here's the funny thing: is that early on into me actually developing the email list, you actually in get response you put it in sent from and reply to. You have 2 different lines. It'll have the email address. It defaults over to my own email address. Someone actually responded, and it actually came over to my personal email, and they were just like, "Oh, I love your books," and yada yada. I don't know if they paid attention to it. They were speaking to the assumed name. They didn't know they were speaking to Dale, and I was just like, seriously, like flushed full of red. I was like, "Oh crap! Oh crap! Oh crap!" And I'm like, "Well, they're giving you a compliment. It's not like they were just like, hey, you should be ashamed of yourself, you sick son of a bitch." And I was just like, from that point on, I have not made that mistake on my email. I always fix the sent from and reply to the proper assumed name. So it was a pretty funny experience. I know we actually get, it seems like probably every other week we get fan mail.
Oh, nice.
Kelly actually did one the week before last and had forwarded it from the assumed name's email. Okay. Assumed name comes over here and it was like, I think you should read this, but it didn't say like from Kelly or anything else like that. Flush. I'm like, oh God damn it. I'm like, I did it again. I'm like, oh, it was forwarded from the assumed name's email address. And it was like, pretty much Kelly saying you should respond to this, which I always take time to go through and say something to the fan. Like, oh gosh, I had somebody one point or another was like, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen or something. And I was just like, There's more of a hint that actually I didn't want to let out. Yeah, it's an assumed
No,
a woman
no,
writing.
that's what I was laughing about, that you actually said that. Yeah, yeah,
So that, yeah, hey, that's only giving 50-50 at this point. So people are going to be like looking at all
yeah,
these different women's names and things like that. Like maybe it's him. I'll give you
yeah.
guys. I give you guys a big clue. It's definitely not J.S. Scott, because if that was the case, man, I would be doing bank like a motherfucker. J.S. Scott kills it in contemporary romance. I'm telling you, big time. Like that woman could probably do nothing for the rest of her life, and she'll probably be doing okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. You know, it's impressive, and here's why, folks. This is why this is truly impressive, even if it's a pseudonym, right, or whatever. Um, each week on Amazon Kindle alone, in the romance and erotica genre, right? 37,332 titles are released every week.
Nuts.
Every week, bro. Yeah. And you're ranking getting fan mail and stuff, dude, that's,
Yeah.
I mean, you really have to look at it in that scope. That's huge. Yeah.
And you know, the funny thing is actually I have not, I shouldn't say, because Kelly handles all the romance stuff. I have not released a book for about 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh,
And
man, you're slacking.
I know. You know, my attention obviously has been on other things, you know, and the funny thing is I'm
Yeah.
sitting on 3 titles right now through my own fitness brand. But, you know, my attention actually kind of shifted towards the children's book. And I don't want to say anything premature, but, you know, with the direction that things are kind of going and the fact that I can sit here and I smile the entire time I put together a children's book. Like, I'm putting together a paperback and it's so fun. I'm smiling the entire time because you can't help it. You put it together and it's like fucking coloring. Fitness books, unfortunately, I don't smile the entire time. It's usually like this. Right, yeah, you know, read through, make sure the directions are correctly. Hopefully nobody's falling over on their ass and breaking their neck, you know. No real liability involved when it comes to children's books unless you're telling them to swallow broken glass, you know, and that's not going to happen, you know. That's one thing I take very, very seriously is I want to put out good quality children's books that, you know, family friendly. So the parents enjoy reading it and the kids enjoy having it read to them. And of course, learning to read from it.
Well, Grumpy Guts, man, I got to be honest with you. It's cute. You know what I mean? It's fun. It makes you smile. Even when I was going through it, you know, I was smiling. I was like, oh, this is funny. You know, it just makes you kind of giggle a little bit. And, you know, that's kind of cool, especially if you can touch an adult, right? So now imagine if I had a little kid. I'm like, this would be so cool to read to them. You know what I mean? They like the little monkey's eyes. Sorry, chimpanzees. The way their eyes are, their facial expressions. I mean, you really took some time into that, man, and it shows.
Well, I'll be doing a live hangout
shows.
as soon as I go into the next one. So people actually will probably sit with me. I might even do like a full 8-hour broadcast through self-publishing with Dale L. Roberts, so people can actually watch as I actually develop some of the chimps and put them into the storyline. I actually will probably Grumpy Gus is going to be the central character for at least the next half dozen books. But I'm going to introduce some other characters. So this next book is going to have another character come out. I don't know who it is. I don't know what it's going to be. I've got quite a few heads that I can choose from, but people actually will get to watch me as I develop these characters. But I'm thinking about something to do with Grumpy Gus. I need to find alliteration. I love alliteration. There's something about alliteration that I get, like Grumpy Gus. That right there alone is great alliteration. Beats the blues, you know, the beats blues. I like having the alliteration, so most likely that's going to be the common theme around some of the titles. But I want to kind of talk a little bit more about happiness and finding happiness and, you know, choosing to be happy. So I don't want to force it because it's kind of like whenever I wrote music, I didn't ever sit there and think, well, I'm going to write this song about suicide. You know, I would literally just start writing, and then I go, oh, okay, and then I go through. And I'd start tweaking a little bit, and wait, and I tweak it some more. So Beats the Blues. The funny thing is with that one, I didn't set out for that. It started to evolve more and more, and then I was like, I know what I want to do, and then I started to write it. So we'll see how this next one goes. I know that right now I just need to finish up this paper.
Beautiful.
We're done disconnecting. Going to get the coloring book put up. Audiobook's going to probably come this weekend or next. Either way, I want to try to get that relaunched before our departure out to the Midwest in less than 3 weeks, my friend. You excited?
I am excited, man. That's crazy. So we could have had you here sooner if you would have let me drive a U-Haul and pick your ass up. But hey, whatever. Do it your way. Do it your way, Dale.
Dude, if you would have drove
Whatever.
a U-Haul all the way from Ohio, all the way back, you would have want to killed yourself. Seriously, you
Nah,
go
I
on
like to. I like
traveling.
to do that. Yeah.
Oh, you're
I would.
crazy.
I would
You're
have. I
fucking-
would. I would have actually just flown out there and picked one up and drove it back. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Could you imagine? I'd be beeping, beep beep. We'd be doing like hangouts, as I'm going across the states and stuff, riding along like.
That would be kind of fun, actually doing a hangout on air, and we just kind of just have our conversation as we go along. That would be tremendous. For
It
sure.
would be tremendous. Yeah, man. No, this is. I'm excited. There's so much possibility.
Yeah.
We've already created a lot of possibility being 3,000 miles away from each other, right?
Yeah.
So when you bring, I've always kind of felt that you and I have been on the same wavelength, same kind of energy pattern. It seems like anyway.
Yeah.
So with bringing those two energies physically together, not like that, folks, but in the same room.
No more headphones unless we're doing interviews too.
Yeah, it's got to be like a little bit of an electrifying experience, really. You know what I mean? So to just have that, it's all positive and looking for growth and ideas and just, you know what I mean? I'm excited, dude. So
yeah, I'm really excited too as well. There's so much possibility open. I know I was sitting and speaking with Julian about this, my new brother-in-law, and Julian even brought up. He said that and I don't know if there was any kind of gravity to this one or not, but he was actually wanted to show us kind of a tour of his working process.
okay.
Doing the cooking and stuff like that, and I thought that's a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
I was able to expand on the idea too as well. And I think I shared this with you, and this is where it shows the funny part to actually how I'm going to get him slowly transitioned over to residual income.
Yes, sir.
Is every Sunday they're planning on doing some family get-togethers. They're already doing it, so we're going to be involved. And I said, hey man, why don't we do this? You're already cooking the meals. Why don't I bring my cameras along? I'll bring along my phone as well. We'll go ahead and record the process of you doing that, and I'll go ahead and I will jot notes down that we'll go ahead and put it up into a book form. And then when people buy the book, we can actually end up snapping shots, of course, at the time too. The actual dish he does, because he masterpieces. They're just like art. Actually look at his plates. But we'll end up doing that. We'll put it into book form and then have it to where people can actually buy the full course on video from him. And so this way we're actually meeting together to break bread as family, but also we're building a business at the same time. So it's going to
do this. Cool. Yeah. Now his style, he is, it's Mediterranean and I know it's right. Mediterranean and help me out here. I can't remember from March.
Puerto Rican.
Okay.
His family's from Puerto Rico. That's why we went to Puerto Rico.
Okay.
His mom, it spoiled us. Good God, she was such a sweetheart. And
she just loved to cook and stuff.
Oh yeah, the two of them were in the kitchen cooking. I took quite a few pictures.
Oh,
and
nice.
Such. But he's very, very well versed in everything. That's why I was like looking at you. It's like he just does everything at this point, and he even is going to be expanding his vegan repertoire. So he's actually going to be working on some stuff that he can hook up his sister.
Hook up the family with,
yeah, exactly. So we're looking forward to that, and we actually will have Julian on the show too.
Yeah,
when he has a spare moment,
excited.
we'll actually have him jump on and shoot some episodes with the guy. Is fucking hilarious. He and I tell you, man, I got my ab workouts just being around that guy because I would laugh my ass off.
Nice.
And the voices he can make, man, he's going to be a voiceover for me on one of my books or more of my books at any rate, because his voices that he could create were just killing me, making me wet myself. But hey, dude, we're wrapping up towards the end of the hour, and I gotta tell you, I need to get back.
Oh wow, that went by fast.
Yeah, it really did. So we actually went a little bit over today, but that's okay. I want to say thank you for those of you that have tuned in today. It really means the world to us. Whatever you've tuned in at, please make sure that you leave a comment or a rating of some sort, or even just a simple thumbs up. That would make a huge difference to us, whether it be on iTunes, on Stitcher, on TuneIn, on SoundCloud, one of our biggest areas right there. Hey, please, leave us a little bit of remarks. If you don't like what you hear, please tell us what you don't like hearing, what you would like to hear more of.
Absolutely.
And if it's a case that you don't want to hear us, well, you're probably tuning into the wrong channel anyways. This show is all about you. We want to make sure that we're hooking you guys up with what you would like to hear. As per usual, please go into the description that's included in on this show here. There's a link to Amazon. You're going to go ahead and click that link, and you're going to bookmark it in your browser. That way, anytime you do any shopping on Amazon, small portion of the proceeds, usually about 4 to 6% of all sales, comes back to support us. And it's no extra cost to you. Really, it's Amazon's way of saying, hey, guys, thanks for sending us the traffic. Here you go. Here's a cookie. So
speaking of
get
cookies,
on over to Amazon. Yeah, you can order some cookies over on Amazon through the link in the description below. So please, folks, any little bit counts. We do see you. We do see the support. We do appreciate it. We're not looking to make millions or anything else like that. It just helps us cover a little bit of the overhead costs, and eventually we can be able to make the upgrades that actually will make this show just a little bit more special than what it is. And the nice thing is pretty soon, my friend Kevin, we're going to have all this lighting together. We're going to have the nice microphone together. And really, the upgrades are going to go towards, better things. So,
well, yeah, and the backdrops that I showed you, the one for Christmas, the one for fall.
Fuck me. I just love that. I saw that. You know what? I am not against it. Actually, I laughed. I was like, that actually would be pretty fucking funny.
It is fun.
It's like a PBS special. Hello.
Yes.
Welcome to Bootstrap Businessmen, the podcast devoted to people that like making money on no money.
Nice.
Well,
yeah.
Well, hey, I need you to do me a favor, dude. Close us out.
All right, folks. Just kind of tagging in what Dale said. We do appreciate everybody. A couple things, what we talked about tonight: residual income. Learning how to do that, different platforms to create that from. First step is, a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their mind around this. So the first step I want you to do, honestly, write down residual. Okay. And then I want you to do a little research. Start with the dictionary, honestly. Start with the dictionary, then grab a thesaurus. Start really educating yourself on what this is and what it truly means. And then start looking at different platforms, direct sales, insurance, books, point of sale systems, credit card processing, whatever. I mean, there's so many different avenues. You truly, and honestly, from the heart, everybody needs to look into this, even if it's just a side income. Okay? So just take your time and do that. We're talking about children's books and romance and stuff, and, honestly, and Dale's pussy. So everybody have a good night. This is Dale and Kevin. Hey, we'll see you next week.